All right, Housing Design 12. This is your first video. Just wanted to identify what's going on here. We're looking at our lighting module that's due, today's Monday, the 13th of April, and it's due in 2 days. You've had just over a week to work on it. And if we go in and it's under classwork here, we go in and view the assignment. I'll just go through what we've got so far. So in the top left-hand corner, we've got lighting overview. These are the slides that I would have taught through or talked through in class, and that most of you would have slept through. So if you want me to work through these really quickly, actually, maybe what I'll do first is just go through all the parts of this. So if we go to directions, you're going to see it's just two slides, the title slide and then this one here. And what I've asked you to do for this is read and review lighting overview, which is this one right here. Look at the textbook sheets that I attached, complete the Google form quiz, and then do the lighting in your home slideshow. So let me show you the quiz and the slideshow, and then if you have all the information you need, then you can go ahead and do those things. If not, you can keep watching for my lesson. So here, back in the assignment, this thing that says Google Forms, that's your quiz. Most of you have completed this already, but if not, here it is. So what you're going to do is you're going to go to this quiz, and you're going to, after you've read all the content and feel comfortable with it enough to do the quiz, you can start it. You're going to read the question. This kind of light is provided by the sun, and then you're going to go through your options. So these same options exist for every single question. They're just in random order. And so what you do is you say this kind of light is provided by the sun, and it's not artificial light. It's the opposite of that. It's natural light. So that's the answer for that one. And you're going to go through and do the same thing for all of these. There are duplicate answers, but this is your quiz. If you have any questions, shoot me an email, but that should be pretty straightforward. And the other assignment that you have to do for Wednesday is lighting in your homes. So what I'm asking you to do here, and all the instructions are on the slideshow. What I'm asking you to do is create your own slideshow presentation for these 17 terms here. Right, all of these. Most of these are able to be found on the textbook pages or in my slideshow that I provided, this one here. But if you're not able to find these, you could go to the IKEA website, and the IKEA website actually has really good definitions and example images if you're looking for them. So what I'm asking you to do is create slides where you define and show different lighting types for all 17 of those listed terms. For 5 of those 17, I want you to use photos from your own house, preferably with you in the photo or something to prove that it's in your own house. So if you want to choose like a random object, like I don't know, like your cell phone or something to hold up, or yourself. But the idea would be that there's proof that 5 of them are from your own house. That you didn't just Google desk light and then put that picture in. For the other 12, you can just Google the picture if you want, or go to the IKEA website. But for 5 of them, I want you to actually have them be from your own house. So here, yeah, it says the rest can be Googled or just pictures you take without yourself in it. I'm only requiring 5 photos with you or a specific object like a phone, because I want you to actually like prove to me that you can find them yourself and that you're not just Googling them. So here's what an example of that might look like. You're going to give your definition. What is a ceiling light? And then I have a little arrow pointing to my ceiling light right here. And of course, there's me in my kitchen with my ceiling light. So that would be one of the 5 that you have to do. So you can choose any of these to do from your own home, and then the remaining ones you can just Google, or you can do them all from your own home if you're keen. Okay, so if you're comfortable with what you're supposed to do and you want to just go ahead and do it, that's great. If you want to stay on this video, you can watch, and I'll actually teach through this lighting slideshow. So we look at lighting. I'll presentation mode here. In my lighting slideshow, I would have talked through the same idea, all these different lighting styles and stuff, pendant, accent, LED, all those. When we talk about natural light, we're talking about basically light from the sun. So using windows, skylights, anything like that to provide natural light to your home. It's considered superior to artificial light. The only problem is when the sun goes down, you lose it. It's also considered to be a heat source in places like Nova Scotia or anywhere colder than that. If you have your windows on the south side of your house, it actually gets warm and absorbs sunlight and makes it hot. For the same reason, in the summertime, people often like to keep their blinds down or block their windows so that the sun doesn't heat up their house more than they want it to be from the when it's already hot in the summertime. When we look, so there's only two kinds of there's light can be lumped into two different categories, either natural or artificial. But when we look at artificial, there's a number of different sort of subcategories. Obviously, candle light would be the sort of most entry level one that's been around the longest. As you can see from this graphic, it's sort of the least efficient, uses a lot of energy, doesn't create a lot of light. It does create a lot of heat, which is usually not a good thing. And the lifespan you listed is quite low. Then we move up to incandescent. This is the sort of the light bulb that's been around for the last 150 years. It uses like a filament, and it's a little bit more efficient than candlelight, but not by much. And it doesn't last very long either. More recently, fluorescent or compact fluorescent bulbs, our third category here, were created, and these ones are have become more common. But there are some downsides to those as well, including the fact that they take some time to warm up, and they're filled with a gas, so that has electricity pass through it, and so they can be dangerous. They can actually contain mercury, so they can be dangerous if they break. And finally, LED bulbs, which is considered to be the best, but also the most expensive, create a very bright light at a very low amount of energy. They last the longest, and yeah, they're just the best, but they come at a price. All right, so we've got these artificial incandescent lights come in a variety of shapes and sizes. You probably recognize some of these on the right-hand side here from like maybe your yard or the kind that get plugged in to light up your yard at Christmas time. Some of these are for like vanities in a bathroom or just anyway, lots of different shapes and sizes. Artificial incandescent lights create warm yellow light, but they consume a large amount of electricity. They got a relatively short lifespan. They get very hot, which can lead to fires, and they typically just used for sort of general lighting purposes. Fluorescent lights are a glass tube filled with mercury vapor, and the vapor actually makes invisible ultraviolet rays that are made visible through a coating in the tube. So it's the coating on the outside of the glass for the bulb that actually makes the light visible. I've got a video here you can watch if you want. Fluorescent lights, the pros is that it's more efficient than traditional incandescent filament bulbs. They're used in places like schools or hospitals, anywhere where there's a huge amount of light being used because it reduces electrical costs. They create almost no heat, so it's a low fire risk. They disperse light over a great area. They typically now the compact fluorescents that plug into a regular socket have changed this, but the long bulb type, which is the original fluorescent bulb, lends itself to industrial applications because you wouldn't necessarily have room for it in a typical house, but in a large room like a hallway or a classroom or something, they fit, and they last 10 to 20 times longer than a typical bulb. They're more expensive to install and maintain. There's a delay in turning them on and off, and what I mean by that is they take time to warm up or create their maximum amount of light. And if they shatter or get broken, they do contain a poisonous vapor, so not ideal in terms of safety. And then finally, we get to LED lights, and LED lights you can see just from this graphic. They create sort of the most light and the most reliable lifetime in a bulb for the lowest amount of cost. And so they're just superior. They don't contain a poisonous gas, so they're just all around the best. LED lights use a fraction of energy. They're low heat, low fire risk. If there's all things being equal, they should last for 20 plus years, versus a lifetime of months for typical incandescent bulbs. So you buy an LED light and probably don't have to replace it ever. So your value that is there for sure, but the upfront cost is significant. A new LED light bulb is anywhere between $5 and $15, whereas an incandescent bulb might be under $1. So you have to be prepared to pay that upfront cost. You need a lot of LEDs to make the same amount of light, so bulbs can be bulky. This is this LED light bulb that you see here is relatively new innovation, because LEDs typically look like they do in this image, where they're quite small. And that's what you probably are familiar with, LEDs like they used in your TV or in your phone screen or something like that. So to make the amount of light that we would consider acceptable for a room, it's a bit of a complicated technology. So that explains the expense, but they're coming down in price. Right, if you want to hop on and watch this video, you can do that, but it summarizes different types of light sources. Now, looking at lighting types in homes, a lot of these are self-explanatory, but you've got floor, table, and desk lamps. They're indicated here. You've got a chandelier. That's anything that fixture that hangs from the ceiling, usually over like a kitchen table or something. Cabinet lighting, that would be something that goes under a cabinet to light up a countertop. These are typically today, they're like LED strips you can buy at the hardware store. Pot lighting or recessed lighting is buried in like up inside the ceiling. They usually don't create a ton, so it's considered to be ambient light. So you don't, you wouldn't use it as your only light source in a room, but it kind of gets you started. Track lighting is sort of similar to pot lighting, except that the lights are on track, so usually they're adjustable. They can swivel and move, and the track is very noticeable. So you got to sort of be careful that the style suits the room. They're used in like rec rooms and things like that. Sometimes over kitchens, but usually for places where you want to accent the room with a fixture. Wall sconces, you probably recognize them from like the side of your house, or in your possibly like in a bedroom. If you ever stayed in a hotel room where the light was like mounted to the wall above the bed, that's a wall sconce. Yeah, or a vanity in a bathroom like we have in this picture. Next we get ceiling lights. So ceiling lights, this bottom picture here is the best example. Just anything mounted to your ceiling, should be hard mounted or fixed, not hanging. And they've been around for, sort of one of the most common original styles of lighting. Usually has to have some sort of a plastic shade concealing the light bulb. Here you got pendant lighting. That's sort of anything that hangs from a string or a wire, a cable. You can see from the images here. They're not any more functional than any other type of light, so they would exist primarily for sort of style or decoration. I guess that's all I've got there in my slideshow. So if we go back to our class here, you can also see that we've got the textbook pages, and I do not expect you to read every single page or every single line in these pages, but I would suggest that if a lot of the terms and stuff I'm looking for are highlighted in bold, and also a lot of the stuff from the quiz are found on these pages, so you're going to want to skim through these and find your information. All right, I think that's it. Again, your assignment here is to do your Google form quiz and to do your lighting in your home slideshow. I'm looking for that by Wednesday because I want to introduce your new content. Our next module, if you want to see it, is going to be housing styles. I'm just finishing that up right now, so it's different styles of homes. So it'll be similar, and what I'm actually looking to have you do is walk around your neighborhood and take pictures of people's homes, and hopefully you don't get arrested for doing that. But that's one of the projects for this one. All right, so if you have any questions, based on your feedback, from that survey I did. I'm not going to be holding office hours anymore, but you can email me. That seems to be the best way. And if you have any other questions or you want to talk to me in person, I can meet you on Google Meets. You just have to sort of email me and arrange time, and we'll go from there. All right. Thanks for listening to me. Let me know if you have any questions, and we'll talk to you later.